Good day. Hopefully today we can get the hard lines, all the brake lines put back in. Potentially maybe start on making the dash 3 lines that actually run to the calipers. But mainly I just want to get all the brake lines in and might play with some of the wiring. So let's get to work.
I feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah, there's really no reason for me to stop and show you anything. We're not doing anything, it's fun. Just running all the wires, getting everything tied back up, kind of tucked away a little bit. Got my oil temps sensor hooked up, little pressure line hooked up. Probably be going to digital on some of those later this year if I want to spend the money on sensors. Just got some of the lines, running from the interior of the car back out. The fuel line's hooked up, fuel filter's on. I don't know, I got, one of the wires for the coolant sensor that run up here, which I'm not sure how I routed it last time because it's obviously excessively long for needing to go in this general area. I'm debating whether I want to drill out the original bleed port and just use it as for the aftermarket sensor. It'll still double as, I can take the sensor out to bleed it, but that means every time I want to bleed it or need to, which hopefully is never other than the first time I put coolant in it, would be I'd have to, unhook the sensor wire, risk, stripping something out or, breaking off the little electrical post on the top. So I might just drill another port here to put the sensor or the sending unit for the sensor, and then just leave the bleed port as the bleed port. Other stuff, I did get the brake lines run, so they're tied up in here. I was debating whether or not I was going to order new clips that, plug into the firewall, but I was looking online and just universal ones from, I think, Dorman, which is half the stuff in, the help section, the little universal, vacuum tees and all that stuff. They were, like $10 a piece or something when I was looking online, so I was, plan on doing that. So I put a rib nut in here and just use some insulated P-clips. So those are all on. The master's on and tight. Obviously I got my heat shields on and tight, although that might have to come back off when I actually go to hook up my wastegate, boost signal line, which I still need to do. I need to drill and tap the compressor housing for that. Then you probably can't see a whole lot in here, but I got my dash 3 fittings, the adapters from metric, which is going to be, I think it's M8x1 to dash 3 male. So those are hanging out so I can figure out my bracket situation, because I know the wheel at full lock will barely touch the edge of the bracket, or it has in the past, and that was when it would over center, so I'd rarely do it. So I'm thinking I need to trim the bracket up a little bit. Maybe that used to have the clip that actually held this in place. I won't be able to utilize it with this, but I'll still have the bracket and use some zip ties or safety wire or something like that just to retain it. So I'm in a good spot. Got plenty to do tomorrow and this weekend. Like I said, the big thing is going to be attempting to get the mid pipe mocked up underneath the car so I can finish weld it next week, and then the following weekend, maybe by then I can start making the exhaust essentially. So through the week I'm kind of doing all the little knick-knack stuff you can do here or there, 15-minute jobs that take an hour, all those. But the exhaust is going to take, a few hours, or quite a few hours at least for me to do it. Everything's pie cut, and it's a bunch of little sections of just cut up old, material that the shop was throwing away I used to work at. So I'm just kind of, it's not like I had an 8-foot piece I was going to do a few cuts and make it work. I got a bunch of little 1 foot, 1.5, various sizes. But I'd say we're looking pretty good for maybe fire it up in 3 weeks. By the time this video goes out, it might already be April 11th or close to. So it's probably not going to make that, but just keep chugging along. It might fire by then, but between breaking it in, tuning it, just feeling confident in the car to where I'm going to drive it, you know, a couple hours away, beat on it for the day, and then drive it home. I don't know if I'll be quite at that point. So, yeah, see what happens. Just keep plugging away at it. Excited to see what it sounds like, and I'm still up in the air. I don't know if I'm going to run a resonator or if I'm just going to go straight pipe. Last year I was able to do both because I just ran a muffler at the very end of the exhaust and just put a V-band clamp on it, and then also had a straight pipe, so I could just one bolt change out, you know, muffler, straight pipe if I wanted to. But I didn't like the way it looked just hanging on the back of the car, because you can see, you know, up underneath it a little bit. So I kind of want to keep it all straight pipe. So now the question is, do I either run it, because I'm going to run it where the catalytic converter used to be, or, well, I'm going to be running a cat essentially. But the question is, do I run it or do I not? Because I don't really want to make it interchangeable, but I think it would sound pretty cool between the cams, the high compression. I'm curious to see what the tone of it is going to be without, you know, any kind of muffling, whether it's the catalytic converter or resonator. So yeah, it's going to be a toss up in the air to see which one I go with. I don't know yet. Might flip a coin or something. I definitely like the quietness of a street car. Just nice, calm, quiet. You can beat on it. Nobody really knows you're getting it. You know, if you want to hit a parking lot or a rainy day. If, you know, you got a car with a straight pipe exhaust, you're letting everybody know you're having fun somewhere. If, you know, you run a muffler on it, essentially, if the tires aren't making any noise, nobody has a clue you're playing around. So we'll see what happens. But till tomorrow. See you guys later.